now with Cormac Handy, and Cormac is from GMIT in Galway, and he has prepared all the food using all the produce from the Connemara Smokehouse. So hello, Cormac.
How you doing?
Great.
Good.
Now, are you a lecturer?
Lecturer in GMIT, yeah, lecturer in culinary arts.
Brilliant. Now tell us, what have you created for us today?
Well, we started off, we have Irish charcuterie platter using some of McGeo's from Muchterard's products, and then we had some of Sheridan's cheese chutney to go with our Irish cheese plate. We have a selection of Irish cheeses, and we also have some of Sheridan's cheese chutney. And then we move on. Then we have
to the kind of main thing of the day.
This is the Olive Graham's products. We start off with baby boiled potatoes with his gravlax. Then we have his wild smoked tuna with pickled cucumber. And then we have an avocado and organic smoked salmon mousse. We then have his peppered mackerel, and that's served then with a lemon mayonnaise. And then we have his honey roast salmon, and that's with brie.
Brilliant.
And we also have some of Kelly's oysters on ice as well.
So you're kind of going for a totally Galway theme?
Absolutely, yeah. The finest products, yeah.
So, like, as a chef now, would that be, and as a tutor yourself, would that be kind of an important thing to try and get students, to introduce students to?
Absolutely. It's really, really important that we educate the students of how we don't have to go far to find really good products.
Yeah.
And here's a great example of, out in the west in Ballykeely, we have 6 or 7 salmon products which are top class. And we use these products in GMIT with the students as well as McGeo's and Sheridan's cheese. So yeah, we do our best to integrate all these products in our classes every day.
Brilliant. Well, Cormac, thanks a million.
It's my first time out this part of the world, so definitely going.
You'll be out again.
Absolutely, yep.
And listen, let me say to you, fair play to you. You kind of have made the food look. I know it tastes fabulous, but you've made it look fabulous.
Thank
so
you
well
very
done.
Much. Cheers. Thank you.
Welcome.
I hope you enjoy.
That was Cormac Handy, who's one of the lecturers in the culinary arts in the GMIT in Galway. Just running us through some of the food that he's prepared here today, using all the beautiful produce from the Connemara Smokehouse, and of course from Sheridan's and McGeo's and the Kelly's oysters as well.
Very welcome here today. For those of you who don't know me, we're here. My name is Kevin Heaney, and together with my colleague Breedon McIntyre, we lead up a project for Teagasc called Craft International. This project, which is funded by the European Union Northern Periphery Programme, basically aims to establish help businesses such as Graham's establish economusees. What are these? An economusee is the best interpretation. It's a French word. The best interpretation is a living or a working museum. The whole concept was developed in Canada 25 years ago, in Quebec province, and it's been rolled out in Quebec and in Atlantic Canada and in British Columbia. And 3 years ago, Teagasc got involved in a project trying to bring this concept to Europe. So what does it do? In one way, it's very simple. The idea is that you try and help artisan producers network with each other. That's the simple part of it. But it's also quite sophisticated, because what it tries to do is to help those producers with assistance from the project in terms of promotional material, mentoring advice, and introducing them to other like-minded artisans to help them tap into the increasing number of tourists who want to come to a location and see local produce where it's been produced and talk to the people who produce it. So people are striving for this authenticity in terms of local products and in terms of meeting people who can talk about their products. And in this sense, we're here today to inaugurate Graham and Saoirse and the Smokehouse into this international network of now 68 economusees around the world, ranging from Canada throughout Northern Europe. We're very lucky inaugurating someone like Graham and Saoirse into this network, because hopefully what the network brings to them in terms of additional visitors and additional business, which is fundamentally what this project's all about. It's about improving the bottom line of businesses and supporting businesses. But also I think Graham and Saoirse can bring a hell of a lot into this network and help other artisans around the world to try and do and achieve the same standards that they're achieving here in the Smokehouse. So I think it's a two-way street, and hopefully will continue to be a two-way street as well. And I think that sense of authenticity is particularly important. And I think it's encapsulated by the president of the International Economusee Network Society, who sent a letter that I'd just like to read out today. It's very brief. Dear friends and partners, we are very proud to count the new Connemara Smokehouse Economusee among our European network members. It is the second to open in the Republic of Ireland after Celtic Roots in Balnahown, and the 68th in the world. In May 2012, we had the pleasure of welcoming artisan Graham Roberts to Quebec City, and were able to appreciate his passion for his work and strong interest in perpetuating this traditional trade in a family business situated in the magnificent location of Connemara. Wild, organic or farmed, Connemara Smokehouse smoked salmon and smoked seafood offer a succulent taste and delicate texture like no other. Thus, on this occasion, we would like to wish the Roberts family much success in the future, and we would also like to offer our congratulations to all those who helped with setting up the newly converted Economusee, which now joins the ranks of the members from Canada, Norway, Sweden, Iceland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, the Faroe Islands in Northern Europe. We are pleased to be able to depend on responsible, community-minded partners who firmly believe it is possible to combine economic development with culture and tradition. They are also avid supporters of the democratisation of knowledge and the development and conservation of tangible and intangible heritage in such a way that we can truly say that their entrepreneurial vision embodies the very spirit of our slogan, the artisan at work. We would also like to express our sincere gratitude to the European Union and local governments and organisations for their backing of the Economusee partnership and business model, in addition to promoting values such as mutual collaboration. And it's signed by Michel Gervais, the President of the Board, and Carla Gertin, the Chief Executive Officer. I think that's just a recognition of the esteem, I think, and the impression you made, Graham, when you were in Quebec as well last May. I suppose just looking to the future, we hope that this network continues to develop in strength. We're working closely, and we've invited Fáilte Ireland, Board Bia and the Crafts Council onto an advisory board for us, and we're looking forward to working with them and sharing whatever we can in terms of knowledge, because I think all the organisations are increasingly trying to get involved and promote food tourism and cultural tourism more generally. So we look forward to that as we continue to roll out this network over the next year or so. I'm going to leave it at that. We've a few other people say some words, and then at the end I think Graham wants to get as many people as he can to do a tour of the smokehouse as well. Graham, isn't that correct? Yeah. Okay, so Graham, I'd like to hand over to yourself.
Lovely. I suppose I'd like to thank everybody for coming today. We've been very, very lucky with the weather, but it's great to see so many people here. You know, today is a very exciting day for myself and Saoirse, because I suppose it's a step towards realising some of our long-term dreams and plans. And part of that is, you know, we're constantly looking and asking, you know, how can we improve the visitors' experience when they come here? And that's something that's very, very important to us, because if people come here and they have a good experience, they will come back again. They will tell their friends, they'll tell their family, and that's something that's really, really important for us. So as I said, today is an exciting step for us because it brings that to fruition. Entering into the Economusee network enables us to sort of drive that forward. You know, and I suppose sometimes you're sort of plugging away all the time and you think, are you actually getting somewhere? So to be invited, if you like, into a network like the Economusee network, I suppose it just makes you realise, yes, if you keep plugging away, keep doing the hard yards, eventually things will start to happen. And we've been working on this for quite some time. And so it's lovely, as I said, to see that starting to come to fruition. You know, it also gives us a chance to shout about Connemara on a global scale. I mean, Connemara is well known globally anyway, but it's another opportunity to shout out, you know. And one of the things that's really, really important to me, and anybody that knows me will know this already, but one of the things that's really important to me is the employment that this creates. You know, it's not just even the people that work here directly. You know, there's maybe 30 people's lives affected in a positive way from something we're doing here, if you take the families and so on into account. But there's the spin-off from all of that as well, and that's something that's really, really close to my heart. I would like to think that something that we can do now will maybe create something down the line, so that if in the future, if children of this area want to stay here, that there's something for them to stay for. You know, not necessarily just here, but you know, the more things that we can create going on, the more buzz that we can create around the place, the more opportunities it presents. And it's opportunities that other businesses can piggyback on as well. Generally speaking, if something goes well in an area, it's good for everybody. You know, so that's something that's really, really close to my heart. We've got a long way to go. Obviously, you know, we're never going to sit back on our laurels and kind of say, right, that's it. You know, I'm always looking at what I'm doing, and it's something I'd be very confident in what we're doing being a good product, but I will never stop and say, right, that's it. You know, I'll always look at what we're doing and say, can we do better? And that's something I think that's very, very important as well, to always kind of look at what you're doing and see what else you can do. Again, I suppose I'm very, very lucky here. We've got a fantastic team at the Smokehouse. They give 110% commitment all the time. And that's so important, so valuable for me, because that's what gives us the quality that we're famous for. And quality is what our business is based on. And it's not just quality of the smoked salmon, it's quality of when somebody comes here to the Smokehouse. Sometimes we'd have customers there, you talk to them sometimes for 20 minutes and they leave. And they're actually almost embarrassed leaving. They're kind of, God, we've taken 20 minutes of your time, we haven't bought anything. But as we say, it doesn't matter. If they leave here happy, that's what it's all about. Because somewhere down the line, it could be in a week's time, 6 months' time, a year's time, they'll come back or they'll send somebody else back. So it's really, really important that whatever we do to the best that we can. I suppose one of the things that's really, really important, as I said, is quality, and the way to see that, the intricacy and the detail that we strive for, the only way to pass that knowledge on is through time and experience. And so it's lovely for me to see the next generation, our children. You've probably seen some of them floating around today, particularly hanging around the food table, the two boys. And we have 2 boys, 2 girls. We've got Amy, who's 12, Keith is 11, Ethan is 9, and Katie's almost 8. And it's lovely to see them coming up through the ranks as I did with my dad. And as I said, the only way to learn that intricacy and detail that we strive for is through time and experience. And Amy and Keith actually now are capable of deciding when the fish is ready in the smoker through experience they've learned from me, that I learned from my dad. And so it's fantastic to see that being passed on. I'd like to thank our customers as well. A lot of our customers come to us and they say it's great to see the same people still producing the fish. But as I say, it's a two-way relationship. It's lovely for us to see the same faces, the same names coming back, because it means we're doing something right. And so it is very much a two-way relationship. We're very happy, I suppose, to be part of the Economusee network, and really, really pleased to have it opening here today. And, you know, it'll give us the opportunity to open more doors and continue to build on this success. A few people that I'd like to thank, I suppose I'd like to thank all of my friends and family for their patience. There's been a few nights out missed and a few play times postponed. But they've always been there to back me up and support me in everything that I do. Teagasc have been brilliant, huge help to me. Kevin in particular, absolutely invaluable. Team at Conservation Let a Frack and Peggy with the panels, and Leader and Forum in Let a Frack as well have been extremely helpful to us. I'd like to thank Stefan for coming here today as well. Stefan has come here on his own time, and Stefan has been using our product for as long as I can remember. So I guess that's probably a good sign. Cormac and Jacinta, fantastic job with the food today. As I say, I'm very good at making a good product, but making it look pretty is not my forte. And the guys did it absolute justice today. It looked fabulous, so well done on that. And I suppose all of the staff here as well, as I said already, but you know, the staff here are like family, and it's always been that way, and that's something that's very, very important to me. Most of all, I'd like to thank Saoirse. She puts up with my early mornings, late nights. When are you going to be home? Don't know, an hour. 5 hours later, I come home, and she still supports me through all of that. So thank you, as I said, very much for coming, and thank you very much.
As Graham mentioned there, Stefan is a long-time user of Graham's products. So, Stefan, would you like to say a few words, please?
I'm buying for almost 25 years products from Graham and John because of one simple reason. It's the quality of product consistently. And that is really, for us chefs, it is very important. Without consistency in our products, we can't do any consistent food, and that's what it is about. But I'm really delighted for Graham and Saoirse that they're becoming a member of the Economusee Association for a number of reasons. Number one is really Graham, who was given all the skills from his father John at an early age, and he's applying those expertly every day to produce a traditional Irish food product, the smoked salmon, organic, wild, regularly farmed, but also he's now applying those skills to do some contemporary products, and that's more unique. The tuna, you know, or the honey roast salmon, they're all very good products. So the skills he learned from his father, he's applying, and he's also passing them on to his children, which is great because it's great to see tradition of arts and food producers. And finally, which is very unique, I believe, is, and that's why I'm so delighted that they are becoming a member of this association, is they're opening their doors every day to show what they do really well. And I was fortunate to bring a number of groups in here, from customers to journalists to colleagues, and I hope to do it soon again. and everybody's leaving here with a sense of understanding what it takes to produce something so consistently and to such a high level, and it's also they always enjoy it. And that's what it is about, I think, in your business is, you're giving up a lot of your time, but you can taste it every day. Every product coming from here is superb consistently. And that's why I'm really delighted for you that you are recognized and I would say awarded a member of this association. So thank you very much.
No need to introduce Councillor Cromwell, the Mayor of County Galway, who's a say a few words and officially inaugurate Graham into the network society.
Thanks, Kevin. I think it's fabulous. I mean, we're really on the extreme here in relation to geographical situation. And I came in and I looked at that map and I said, God, that's a great map, isn't it? It's a pity we couldn't have more maps where things are coming from the west rather than coming from the east. So it's great that we're actually here in relation to a thriving business. I mean, genuinely in Connemara, we haven't, I haven't been to enough thriving businesses to have good news stories like this, and this is a good news story. A few weeks ago, we were actually in France with Graham's product. We had a very successful event in France where we had mussels from Rinville, we had Graham's, the salmon from here, we had oysters from East Galway, we had beer from Galway, and we had woolen products out there, and it was an absolutely fabulous weekend. Nationwide did a programme on it, and I must say the Nationwide people come from a position of positivity. Since that, then we had the president of the wine producers from Anjou. I had him actually back in Galway last Friday or Saturday night for the mayor's ball, because we're trying to build those relationships between people in other areas. The quality of the food, it was fabulous. But it is brilliant to be here, because 4 or 5 jobs in the region here is that's the equivalent to 30 or 40 jobs in Galway. It's the equivalent to 400 or 500 jobs in Dublin. And it's fabulous that you're able to maintain them and sustain them, and that's what it's all about. It's all about sustainability in Connemara. And I'm very honoured to be the first mayor from Connemara. We've been working very closely with Eileen in relation to one big project that we are trying to do, and that's, I think, the biggest problem we have in Connemara is that we don't have the projects or the facilities to bring people in and to keep them here for a day or 2 or 3. And I think this is going to add to the situation. This is another notch on the bed, that we can say, well, you go there, spend a couple of hours there and see what these people are doing and the product that they're producing and stay with them, because, we're actually, now at this particular time, we're actually fighting with Dublin because we're improving the road network. And I'm not going to name the company because I've named them so many times before, but you can get on a bus in Dublin at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you can do a tour of Connemara, and you can be back in Dublin at 8:30 that night. It's absolutely crazy to think that somebody can see Connemara, the beauty of it, the people, that you can do that in 12 and a half hours. 4 hours or 5 hours of that is actually driving to it. So we are actually, that's who we are actually fighting against at the moment. Okay, I wouldn't like to think it's fighting, but we need to get something sustainable in relation to it. And one thing I am saying is that in relation, there's one major project that the County Council have been striving to proceed with, and Fáilte Ireland have been very, very supportive in relation to that, and that is the Greenway. Now, unfortunately, recently some people contacted me and they have a certain amount of misinformation in relation to it. The Greenway is a project that we want to produce for the region, for the businesses that are in the region, to keep people here for 2 days or 3 days. Let people come in and they'll cycle into it, because it is fabulous what we have here. We're not selling it good enough, but we need that sort of a system that people will come in and they'll have a reason to stay. We don't want to have good roads to get people in and out fast. We do want good roads, Stefan, I know we do. But we need something to bring the people here, to keep them here. And I think what Graham is doing here is you are going to add to the attraction in Connemara. And I think it's wonderful what you're doing. And to Saoirse, well done. To the rest of the family, it's not easy being in business this weather, I know it myself, but it can be extremely rewarding. So all I'd say is that just congratulations to what you're doing. Well done to Kevin. I know this man for a long time, and he is rural community in his heart, and he's consistently working for it. You know, he brought a huge event to Letterfrack last year, was it, Kevin, with the 2 years ago. You're bringing a huge event back with the gathering this year. Yeah, and so I mean, I think you know, Kevin deserves a Bula bus here as well today. I think so. I think we can give him a Bula bus. About 3 weeks ago, I was asked to do a book launch in Afton Rye. It was a lady. She was 80 years of age. She only started writing books when she was about 75, and she rang me and she said, "Would you come out to do a book launch in Afton Rye?" And I said, "God, I would." Oh, and she said, "God, I was told that the mayor of the county was so busy that you'd have to ring about 6 months in advance." Oh, I says, "No, you're mixing me up with Michael Bloomberg there." That's So I went out, and Brendan was actually at it, and you know, I was trying to be as nice, and I was, you know, I was very complimentary to her. But I sat down without saying that the book is launched, and she nearly took the head of me. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. So what I'm saying here is that, or before I finish, last night I was on the computer and I was saying, what is artisan food? I just, you know, is there, and I went into that bastion of knowledge, Wikipedia, and even they don't have anything in relation to it. But I came across one section of it, and it says artisan food is a person, a place, a product, and a passion. And I think, you know, I said to myself, well, that sums Graham, because your place is unique, your product is unique, you're unique, especially after friends, I know that. And you're definitely passionate. So all I say to you is that it is officially launched.
Well done. And that was Tom Welby, Mayor of County Galway, officially launching the Connemara Smokehouse.
Thanks very much, Tom. I'd just like to ask Brendan Heenan, the Teagasc Regional Advisory Manager for Galway and Clare, say a few words.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, I would certainly like to join with Councillor Tom Welby in congratulating Graham Saoirse and his family. It's a beautiful location. The family, very, very impressive. I could listen to Graham. I could see the passion and I suppose a certain amount of humility that he realises that while he's made a lot of progress to date, he has a long way to go. So we're delighted from a Teagasc viewpoint, and I want to thank Bridget McIntyre for maybe briefing me on this what's happening here, and Kevin for asking me to say a few words. But what I find is that today is a very uplifting day. We spent the last couple of weeks trying to help farmers source fodder. And the first thing I would notice coming into Connemara has got a lot of it's very brown looking. It's got a lot of burning, etc. And I know here in Connemara, shortage of winter feed is still a huge problem, and will be for a couple more weeks for farmers. So it's brilliant to be here, I suppose, in this kind of a very innovative, uplifting type of a scenario. Teagasc are the Agriculture and Food Development Authority. In the food side, I suppose over the years we've had various efforts at local level to promote the networking of small food businesses to market their food, to I suppose put the brand on the market, the Galway brand on the market, with varying levels of success. And it's brilliant to see this particular enterprise getting off the ground. And in terms of developing the food business, probably the single most important thing I think is some kind of mentoring support. When you embark in any food business or any small food business, there's a whole plethora of regulations to comply with. There's a whole myriad of challenges in front of you. Having somebody there that you can actually confide in and maybe bring you from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 is very, very, very important. And I realise, Kevin, that there's a there's a gap in our organisation on that side of it. We have a very, very strong research arm in the food business. Bridget is from the Food Centre in Ashtown, County Dublin. Kevin is very much involved in the rural economy research side. On the advisory side, I'm very, very conscious that we have a gap there, and that there is a role for Teagasc there to have, in a county like Galway, to have a special mentor on food. And I'm delighted over the last couple of weeks that that position has been, funding has been got for it over the last couple of years, but it has been advertised, and there will be a county food officer in the county to help develop, I suppose, and bring the process along, because it is a very, very challenging business to bring a food business forward. Really thrilled that this concept here of networking of unique businesses like the business we're in here today, that not alone are is he talking about developing his own business, but he's linking, I suppose, with like-minded businesses. And compliments to Kevin and Bridgie and everybody involved from the Teagasc side of it to make that happen. I also want to acknowledge the huge role that Leader have played over the past number of 10 years, I suppose, in this area, and Forum and Connemara here in particular. Probably the downside of the Leader side of funding is that there's a lot of regulation there. There's a lot of procedure to go through, and it's not the fault of the staff. There's some excellent staff there, but I'm delighted there to hear as well over the last couple of days that the funding that has been caught in the pipe, so to speak, has been now freed up, and that there will be funding for projects over the next period of time. So that's a very, very positive story as well. From a networking point of view and from a food business here in Connemara, let's face it, from commercial farming will never be commercial in Connemara because of the lack of, we say, quality land resources. So, but it's hugely important that the animals that are there and that the farmers that are there are kept farming. Farmers will not be able to survive in Connemara without support and without special support. The Common Agricultural Policy, as you all are aware, is being renegotiated, and hopefully that will give some extra single farm payment to farmers here in Connemara. But there's also need for to recognise that farmers will need a scheme like the REP scheme. The Rural Environmental Protection Scheme was with us since 1994. It put millions of euros here into Connemara. It has helped sustain the environment, but probably more importantly, it's helped farmers stay in Connemara and stay farming. Now, as many of you people are aware, the Rural Environmental Protection Scheme was discontinued a number of years ago, with the result that there's only a handful of people left in the scheme today in Connemara. Now, we have a smaller environmental scheme, but it will never replace the value of the Rural Environmental Protection Scheme. And going forward, a scheme like what they have in Burren, I cover County Clare as well, and the people in the Burren came together about 10 years ago and it's a bit like what Graham has done here. They've put together a very imaginative scheme on the environment. So really it's called high nature value farming. So they have a special scheme that nobody else in the country have. This special environmental scheme where farmers in the Burren get special payments for farming in the way that they do in the Burren. And it's only the beginning, because obviously they have to harness that uniqueness of the Burren and into maybe to add value to their products, their livestock, their cattle, their milk, etc. But here in Connemara, there's a huge need for that. And now that we're in the negotiation stage for the Common Agricultural Policy for the next 6 years, it's absolutely imperative on everybody to make sure that we get some kind of a scheme like the Burren that recognises the beautiful environment that's here in Connemara, and that we can actually use it as a way of sustaining that environment, more importantly sustaining farmers, keeping the animals, keeping the farmers in the locality, because farming does contribute a lot to the rural economy, same as every other business. Similarly, one other aspect that would come to mind here in Connemara is that the Connemara lamb. There's been an effort over the last 10 years to brand Connemara lamb as being something very special, which it is. Now, if you sell Connemara lamb into the mass market, you're on a hiding to nothing. You get the same, probably a lot less per lamb because of the smaller carcass. The only way that lamb will really thrive and survive in Connemara is if you get a premium price for your product. It should be in every restaurant, it should be branded, etc. A start has been made, but those people that have made the start need support, and they need continued support and mentoring to put that effort on a business footing that will bring it from where it is to where, I suppose, the type of thing that's been done here today is. So huge potential there in Connemara for that niche food, niche marketing, but it will not happen without support. I'm really encouraged, Graham, and really, I suppose, uplifted by being here today, and I want to wish you all the very, very best for the future. And any way the Teagasc can support you in the future, we'd be only too glad to do so. Thank you very much.
Now, we've just had a fantastic time in the Connemara Smokehouse, and I've got two of the youngest people of the Roberts family here with me. So first of all, I'm going to have a little chat with
Ethan.
Ethan. Oh, lovely name, Ethan. And have you started to learn a little bit about the smoking business?
Yeah, I make boxes and brochures.
And do you go to any trade fairs or food shows? No?
I go to some of them.
Yeah.
Not that much though.
Just the ones at the weekend, is it?
Sometimes.
And are you enjoying yourself today, getting a day off school?
Yep.
It's kind of an important family day, isn't it? And so, listen, who's this little lady here beside you now? You're going to introduce me to her.
It's Katie.
Katie, oh, what another lovely name. Hello, Katie.
Hi.
Are you enjoying yourself today, Katie?
Yes.
So what's happening here today now? You tell me. Is there loads of lovely food?
Yep.
What kind of, did you eat any of the food?
Yes.
So what was the food, what food did you like the best?
The soup.
You liked the soup. Now tell me what kind of soup it was, because I didn't have it, so I don't know.
The pepper and the...
Was there any salmon in it or any fish in it?
No.
No? Just a nice starter soup, light soup. And were there lovely croutons?
Yes.
They're nice, aren't they? And was there any salmon at all, was there?
Yep.
What kind of salmon?
There was smoked salmon on bread.
Was it brown bread?
Yeah.
And was there oysters?
Yes.
Okay, so you really enjoyed it. Did you taste the smoked salmon, or do you probably don't like smoked salmon, do you?
I like smoked salmon.
Do you? I bet you do. And what else do you like? Smoked tuna?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So now, is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to say something to everybody about Mommy and Daddy and just...
They do really good fish and stuff.
Yeah.
And they do everything for us and buy stuff for us.
Well, excellent. Thanks a million, Katie. So that was Katie Roberts and Ethan Roberts here in the Connemara Smokehouse. Connemara Smokehouse now is officially a part of the Economusee network.